Good afternoon. Sorry for the false start there. Trying to get out of the blocks a bit early. Thanks to you all for attending this session on marketing automation. My name is Phillip Rothbury. I work for a company called Clerkswell, based in Clerkenwell in London. You get the kind of catchy gist there. We provide internet and intranet solutions to a broad range of clients. We standardise all of our internet developments on Sitecore, and the examples that I'm going to be going through to you today are all based on the Sitecore platform. And we have our own intranet product called EasyShare, which sits on top of SharePoint. Before we start, I should probably just explain who I am. It's a bit about my background and how I got involved in marketing automation. So, well, that's me with a haircut. My background's in IT. So I did an IT apprenticeship back in the 80s, and then moved into IT project management. I did my first browser-based project in 98. I kind of got the bug for web development at that point and went agency side. So moved out of the large city sort of banking sector, and I had the good fortune to work on the initial launches and the first few versions of websites such as Domino's Pizza, Virgin Radio, and Formula One when Formula One moved to ITV. So I got really lucky, really, in being involved in some real sort of pioneers in the industry and being involved in those project teams. As I say, my focus has been much more on the build side and the back office side. So planning out and mapping back office transactions and transaction workflows in the back end. So it's been really interesting for me to watch this kind of move to automations and transaction management on the front end side, to see what people are doing with email, marketing automations and campaign plans, and see how some of those techniques and process plans are being mapped. So what I'm going to do today, talk quickly about some definitions and some benefits, but really the meat of this session was going to be to show you some examples. Really, these examples are real examples from our client base, but they're really presented to you as ideas. So I'm hoping that some of these examples might spark some ideas that you can then take back and think about for your business. Quickly talk about trends and some questions, and I have prizes for questions. So if anyone has questions, then I have a couple of prizes. So definitions. For me, marketing automation has been one of these buzzwords that's been around for the last few years, but essentially boils down to combining a series of steps to get to a desired outcome. Really has its roots in the email space, so sending out email campaigns and then a series of transactions to get to that desired outcome. But recently, vendors have been providing integrated solutions to move that out of the email space and also provide it in social, web, mobile channels, so we can apply automations across the whole digital spectrum. Quite a lot of consolidation in the market, perhaps most notably Oracle, just recently buying Eloqua. Not quite sure where that's going to go, but I think generally trends are saying that we're going to be left in a space where we're going to have a few niche players in marketing automation, probably specialist players in specialist sectors, but then some of the large digital platform vendors will probably buy up a number of the current providers, so it'll be dominated by those platform providers with a number of niche vendors. So marketing automation version 1, or V.1, I suppose we should call this. So plenty of companies here that will talk to you about marketing automation. This is just my quick kind of intro. So lots of us send out email campaigns to promote reports, promote fact sheets, etc. If you're as geeky as I am, you'll send these campaigns out and then have a look at Google Analytics real time and watch all the traffic come in, and they all whiz around the site, and then run off reports on click rates and open rates of the emails and compare those to last campaigns. But all too often that's where this stops. And people just look at those click rates, just look at those open rates, and don't really follow that through to the actual real value that's been generated. Some of the early adopters of marketing automation, a lot of the vendors you'll find here, have shown some fantastic case studies of campaign effectiveness, of joining together a series of steps and have a long-running campaign rather than just that simple email to a form. So in this example, we've sent out an email campaign and we're driving traffic to a form. This web form's to a request to report, and on that form we've got some areas of interest or sectors of interest that we can capture and save in the CRM database or in the platform. Once we've got that information, our automation engine could then go through a wait period and send out a case study to relevant sectors or relevant areas to further nurture, further entice that prospect. And if that prospect comes in and downloads that case study we're promoting, then send it on to the sales team to give them a call. So combining automation with lead scoring to go through this journey. Where things are going, though, where a lot of the vendors are going, is pulling together that story with this integrated platform. So your web content management system vendor, your social channel vendors, and your campaign management tools, using all of these services to create a automation that covers all channels. So rather than just someone's responded to an email campaign, therefore wait for a period and send something, someone might respond to an email campaign and then come to your website completely separately, or come to your mobile site completely separately. We should be able to personalise content on the website based on where they are in that marketing, marketing automation. Now, 30 minutes isn't very long for me to skip through all of these elements. So what I'm going to do is go through some examples, show you how some of these things are in use, and as I say, hopefully they'll spark some interest, and then we can have some questions after. Of course, email me or tweet me after, or speak to the guys at Sitecore. Before we do those examples, some benefits that people look for. So, increasing conversion rates, but focusing on some tangible outcomes like leads generated or value rather than pure volume. Nurturing visitors through a journey, perhaps like we said, fact sheet to brochure download to inquiry form and then the sales team making a call. Encouraging feedback after a sale, so we're all on this quest for advocacy. Perhaps one of the key things I think though is saving time within the sales and marketing team. Saving time in terms of responding to online requests, following up email campaigns, and getting sales and marketing to work much closer together. What we've seen particularly is how much more effective the sales team can be when informed of digital behaviours at the right time. So it's easy to create a monthly, weekly report of all of the campaign activity, but what we really want to do is send the sales team a concise report at the point they need to make a phone call with all of the information we have about those visitors and their journey. And that's one of the examples that I'll show to you. Bit of a report from eConsultancy. Marketing automation doesn't appear to be very trendy if we look at this report. So this was top 3 investment areas in 2012 and 2013. And poor old marketing automation is down there in 8th or 9th place, so kind of doesn't get much of a looking. But if we consider the benefits that we get from marketing automation, particularly around conversion rate optimization, particularly around how better we can target content and personalize content, that's really driving the first 2. You could probably make an argument for a lot more of them as well. So a good marketing automation story, particularly a good marketing automation platform story, to me is really vital to underpin some of these really key investment areas. So perhaps it is trendy after all. So the examples that I'd like to share with you is from one of our clients, Natural World Safaris. Natural World Safaris provide tailor-made holidays to hundreds of clients every year. We've been working with them for just over a year. So I think we started working with them in early January last year. And one of the significant increases we've seen here is in one of the key ratios that we like to use. What we do is we take a unique visitor to the site divided by the number of qualified leads generated. So qualified inquiry forms. So not just inquiry forms completed, they have to be deduped, they have to be checked by the marketing team as being valid, they have to have all the spam removed. In terms of that metric, we've been 75% higher this year so far than any period last year. Now, I can't attribute all of that to marketing automation. because we implemented Sitecore, we've got personalization going on, we've got various other campaigns going on, but it's certainly played an important role in that stat. So first example, nice and simple, a download brochure form. Simple form, but essentially the same sort of thing that you'll find on many travel sites. And once completed this form, as soon as we hit the send button, a number of things will happen by default anyway, such as this gets recorded in the CRM system. If they call me, the sales team will get a notification of to give a call. The visitor will be redirected to a confirmation page with some relevant links based on the location that they've entered. But what we really wanted to do was much more than that and extend that campaign out. So the first example, a very simple first stage marketing automation that's been created in Sitecore. So when anyone completes that form, they're dropped into the first state. So at the top we've got states, at the bottom we've got actions. They're dropped into that first state, and there's no condition on this state, so they instantly drop straight through, and the first action is to email out the brochure. So we send out a brochure email using Sitecore's campaign manager. That lets us send HTML-based emails with attachments that can be tracked, etc. And people are dropped into the second state, so the pause and send. They're sat there for 30 minutes. The system then sends out an email to say, did you get the brochure? It might be in your spam folder. Check where it is. Here's some sales information. Here's our number. Here's some relevant holidays. Perhaps give us a call. But it's essentially a receipt type email. And then at the end there, we just remove from the plan. So probably the simplest marketing automation plan we could design, really just there to follow up the email. So very quickly we extended this to have another state to pause for 2 days. Very similar activity, just wait there for 2 days and then send additional information and relevant holiday information. Key thing at this 2-day one though, because we're sending it out of the campaign manager tool, we can use all of the web journey experience that we picked up. So if that visitor has been back to the website and looked at other holidays or other accommodation types, we can use all of that information to personalize the content in that email. So it isn't just a kind of a one-size-fits-all. In between that 2 days and 30 minutes, whatever the visitor does on the site, we can use that to tailor the message. Also, if someone comes back to the site, we know where they sit in an engagement plan. So if someone comes back to the mobile site or back to the website, we can say, well, if you're in step 3 of this engagement plan, we obviously don't want to be heavily promoting the brochure because they've had it. We might want to get some feedback. We might want to make a bigger story of some of the types of holidays they've been looking at. So just create some simple personalisation on the website which takes into account where they are in this plan. On the next stage, what we've done is added in that sales report. So the form itself will send an email to the sales team saying these guys need a call. But what we did here, one of the default actions within Sitecore is when a session ends. So after 20 minutes of non-activity on the website, this visitor's session just times out. At that point, we want to send a report of that visitor's session, so their behaviour, where they've been to on the site. We want to send a report to the sales team, so when they make their phone call, they're much better informed. Now I have the exciting job of getting that to show. So if I just show an example of what those reports look like. So if you just bear with me for 1 second. Is there a cursor there? Oh, there is. I can't get the Word document up, unfortunately, but I've got this as a PowerPoint slide as another example. But if this is interesting, speak to me after and I'll get it up on the laptop here, because I've got a bit of a technology issue. But this is the report that gets sent on to the sales team automatically when that session times out. So what we can see from this session is They've come from Google, and they've done a search for Galapagos holidays. That information isn't available in that download form report, so that just isn't there. So that helps the sales team. We've then got the visit value and the number of pages that those visitors looked at in this session. Visit value is Sitecore's lead scoring tool. So if you're interested in lead scoring, Sitecore just call it engagement value points rather than lead scoring points. We've got what goals they might have triggered on the site. I think what's probably most important is this profile information. And I've got 2 or 3 of these profile bits of information. This one's on the experience. So Natural World Safaris have got about 12 different experiences that they sell. This pattern is automatically calculated based on the pages that the visitors see. Apologies, I can't scroll it, but as I say, I have got it on here if people want to see it after. And you can see here that this visitor has been looking at marine experiences and island and beach. And that's automatically calculated based on pages that they've visited on the website. If I scroll down, if I was able to scroll down, I'd be able to show you the styles that they've looked at, so family, holiday, group, all these different holiday styles, and then every single page that this visitor's viewed on the website in this session. So that report just really helps the sales team just with some questions to ask, just sort of arms the sales team with information before they make that important call. We'd never advocate making a call and saying, oh, I saw you looked at this and I saw you looked at that, and why did you then go there? But at least it gives some information to the sales team about what questions they could ask. As I say, come and see it after and I'll go through the whole thing. So that's the brochure experience being extended to additional weight states and then sending the sales team information. This example, again, it's the same engagement planning canvas. Fit a carpet. It's the same canvas, but you can see that we obviously found out where to colour boxes at this point in the journey. And what we wanted to do with this campaign was encourage people to like their favourite holidays. So we wanted more people coming in and doing a Facebook like on the site. So what we did was set up a competition, and we gave away a GoPro camera. And then promoted that competition on various social networks, and on the bit.ly links that we used, we had a campaign code. So an extra property at the end of the bit.ly link with a campaign code in it. As soon as that campaign code hits Sitecore, the visitors are enrolled in this engagement plan, so dropped into the first stage, which is just simply that they've responded to the campaign. They'll be automatically dropped onto the competition form. So at this point, we just want them to fill in the competition form. And we've got 2 actions that basically say, has the visitor entered the competition, yes or no? If they have entered that competition, we send them a nice email saying, thanks very much for the competition. Please come to the site and like your favourite holiday page. If you do that, we'll give you a voucher. I told you I wasn't in marketing. Obviously, the wording was slightly improved on that. But that's the 2 actions that happen here. Send the email, inviting people to come back and like a page, and also increasing the engagement value of this journey. They're then dropped into the has entered competition, and they sit there until they like a page. So whenever they come back to the website, we can personalise content on the website to try and encourage that action. I'm using a slightly trivial example, but I hope you kind of get the gist of what we're trying to do. And then when they do like a page, we go through to an additional action, which then sends them a voucher. They then sit in that top right-hand state until they redeem that voucher. So the campaign is all around driving these likes to the website. We use a competition to help us get there, and we use a fairly simple engagement plan to just manage that journey. This is the supervisory mode of that same journey. What this is doing is giving us a real-time view of how many people are in each state. So it's very small text, but we've got 1,100 visitors that have come into this plan. And you see in the centre at the top there, has entered the competition. 40% have entered the competition. 20% have liked a page, and 39% have liked the page and got their voucher. What we can do with this, though, is we can move people to different stages just by going into a state and saying move to another point. You can use that to repeat an action in a manual fashion. You can have automatic repeats, but if you wanted to manually repeat something, you could do that. And you can also import people into any state. So if you've got a new campaign list, you could just import someone somewhere, and the action associated to that state will instantly be triggered, which might be an email to say, come in and like a page and we'll give you a voucher. So a real-time view of where people are in that campaign, and our website can also respond to where people are, so we can personalise and tailor messages. So there's a couple of examples, and I'm running out of time. So the kind of results that we've seen from this. Well, first off, our key ratio that we had up front was our unique visitors to qualified leads. That's up 75%, not just year on year, period on any point last year. So we've got some really good numbers in terms of increased qualified inquiries. We've also seen a nice increase in the people that download a brochure that then go on and do an inquiry. That's quite important for me, because people come in and download a brochure and then sort of disappear, and if they haven't ticked the call me box, we're not allowed to get back in touch with them. So that's quite a nice ratio that I see. One that was quite unexpected was the sales team being better informed. Now, what I mean by that is, of course, the sales team got this report of the visitor's journey and the visitor's experience. But what the sales team are now seeing is the websites of digital services being much more effective for them. Previously, it was just generate them some leads, fill up their pipeline, make loads of phone calls. It's now giving them so much more information into what those prospects have done on the sites over a period of time. And plus, we've now got this platform that the marketing team can use to create their own campaigns going forward. So the platform itself is targeted very much at marketeers, and that's consistent across all marketing automation vendors. It's about marketing teams being able to use these things. Shouldn't need someone with a degree in C# to build these things and develop these things. So some market trends. Well, certainly vendors are moving out of the kind of email silo. Not moving out of it, building upon it. So it's been highly effective in the email world. So vendors are now starting to add in other channels, so you can apply these automations to your whole digital service. We're certainly seeing consolidation of vendors, and I think that's going to continue for the next couple of years. There's a lot of vendors in this space at the moment, and that is going to boil down to probably a dozen or so platform players, and then a series of niche players that might be sector specific. And interestingly, this introduction of implicit targeting. So marketing automation sort of V1 was all about explicit information. So someone who signed up for one of your newsletters or signed up to an email list and giving you specific information about them and their interests. With this platform story, we can now pull implicit information, which is behavior on the website. What people done on the website, what can we glean from that, and then use that to personalize and tailor content on your emails. Certainly isn't a silver bullet technology. No marketing automation service is a replacement for having a good marketing strategy and good marketing campaign ideas. This really should be seen as an enabler. Take your marketing ideas and then put them through this system, which will help you process that better. I don't really believe the story that you buy a marketing automation tool and suddenly become a marketing genius overnight. And pretty much as always, start small and grow. Start small, learn and grow. We went through that journey with Natural World Safaris exactly as we went through there. Started off with that 3-step and then build upon until we refined it to the desired solution. So, summary. Marketing automation definitely can provide you huge returns. Please do identify your core marketing strategy, core campaign objectives and measurements first, so you've got something consistent to measure upon. Review your existing vendors' products. Most vendors have got some kind of roadmap that would include marketing automation. Have a look at it, see how realistic it is, see if that meets your needs. And I'll, of course, encourage you to talk to Sitecore, because that's who we partner with. And before I sort of close, we do have a white paper that covers this. It's down the bottom of the screen, clerkswell.com/personalise. That gives lots of information about how you approach a personalisation project. If you've got any questions, please do email me, tweet me, send me information. Or if you'd like to ask any questions now, I've got a couple of gifts over there that I'll give to the first couple of questions.